Author Susan Wilson Solovic discusses her book, The Girl's Guide to Building a $1 Million Business. Her refreshing and authoritative book gives women the advice they need to become successful entrepreneurs. Susan, you write that women are starting businesses at twice the rate of men. Why do you think so many women are starting businesses today?
One of the biggest reasons is that corporate America just doesn't get it. The corporate structure, that paradigm of business, doesn't fit the nuances that affect a woman's life. Whether you're raising young children or you have elderly parents you have to take care of, the corporate structure doesn't fit. So it's not that women are starting their businesses to work less, they're just starting businesses to work smarter. Another reason is because women are really smart. And when they're working in a certain environment, they often see opportunities and ways to do things better. And then finally, they start businesses because there's still a glass ceiling in corporate America. And unfortunately, women still earn less, about 76 cents as compared to men, and executive women even do worse than that. So they're starting their own businesses because they're fed up and they want to be able to earn an income that is commensurate with their skills.
What do you think is stopping more women-owned businesses from reaching the $1 million threshold?
The hardest hurdle is for women to stand up and say, I want to make money. I want to create a $1 million business. Women will sit around and talk about sex or menopause or their problems that they're having with their children, but heaven forbid that we would stand up and say, we want to make money. So that's one of the obstacles. The other obstacle is really a lack of resources and knowledge. Fewer than 5% of all women in this country get funded by venture capitalists. And in fact, most women fund their own companies by using credit cards or their own personal wealth or from friends and family. And you're not really going to grow a big entity unless you learn how to finance and fund that growth.
Can you tell us about the 4 strategic keys for growing a business that you outline in your book?
The first one is really very simple, common sense. It's to define the vision. Where do you want to go? How big do you want to be? And that's where you just let your imagination run wild. A lot of people go into business because they're very good at a particular craft or they have a particular skill and they decide, I can go and do this on my own. What they don't understand, and actually I call this having an entrepreneurial seizure, is being in your own business is not about your particular craft or your skill. It's about creating an entity that is bigger than you. So the technician goes into the business and they're just doing it every day, and the business doesn't grow. So they have to learn how not to work in the business, but to work on the business. They have to believe that this company can grow, that it's a scalable business, and that it can ramp up very easily. The second thing is you really have to begin to develop the right team. Now, when you're starting a business, and it is just you at first, you're emptying the trash, you're buying the toilet paper, you're making the sales calls, you are answering the phone, everything yourself. But as you grow the organization, you'll see that it becomes harder and harder to do all of those tasks yourself. So you want to start hiring the right people. You want to plan. You want to think about what the skill sets are that you need. And then you yourself have to begin to think like a CEO. The third thing is marketing, marketing, marketing. There's an old saying that nothing happens till you sell something. That is so true. You have to be able to define what makes you unique, what makes you stand out from your competitors. And then you need to do what I call develop a killer brand. And when you talk about branding, a lot of people say, oh, okay, I got a logo, I've got letterhead, I've got the name for my company. Branding is so much more than that. It permeates your entire business. You either have a brand by design or default, and I suggest that you choose it by design. And the final thing is funding. It's so important for growth to be able to fund your business. As you grow a business, you're going to get in those times that you're going to be in a cash flow crunch. There's no doubt about it. The funny thing about bankers is that when you need money, when you need a loan, they don't want to give it to you. When you don't need it, no problem. So you want to get that line of credit. You want to establish that relationship when you don't need it. So you need to analyze what works for you, what you're comfortable with, but never, ever, ever take your eye off the ball of that big vision.
The confidence and knowledge any entrepreneurial woman needs to build and grow her business is within her grasp with The Girl's Guide to Building a $1 Million Business.